Welcome to Zoom at 8. My name is Julianne Peterson, and I am your host every Tuesday night for Zoom at 8. I created this 4 years ago. Can't believe it. It's been 4 years that we have been meeting, greeting, and I think Kenneth is here. Kenneth is one of our first people to come to Zoom at 8. So, and
Hey,
he's
Julie,
still
how you doing?
here.
Yeah, it's a
That's so
good
great.
community.
Yes. So I want to welcome everybody to here. Again, I'm Julie with Zoom at 8. I am a loan officer for Old Capital Lending. And so if you are looking, I'm sure that's why we're here, right? We're looking to purchase multifamily. I'd love the opportunity to take a look at your debt because we are your biggest partner. Your debt partner gives you 70, 60, 50, whatever it is, however the leverage is at the time, we are your biggest partner. So I'd love to have the opportunity. There are quite a few people here that we have closed deals with. So it works. You can find your partners here. You can find your attorney. You can find your insurance broker. You can find cost side. They're all here, guys. So if you're new to multifamily, this is your Rolodex right here, right now. All right, so tonight I've got a special friend, colleague in the industry. Guys, tonight, Jon Simpson is here. Jon Simpson is he is a well-known name in the marketing industry, specifically in the multifamily sector. He is the founder and CEO of Criterion B and Swifty. These are two dynamic marketing agencies based in Dallas, Texas. So since the inception of the company in 2008, Jon has been leading the charge to create effective and efficient digital marketing solutions for his clients. However, his journey did not stop there. As he recognized the need for better marketing support in the multifamily industry, he came and focused just on multifamily. He chose to focus exclusively since 2017 on serving us just exclusively. And in 2020, he launched Swifty. So he was doing just creating with Criterion B and then brought on Swifty. And this is the affordable multifamily marketing platform. With Swifty, Jon has made it incredibly easy for owners to create websites for their properties and execute all of their online marketing needs in less time. In 2022, he took his commitment to the next level and became a multifamily investor himself to gain firsthand experience in the struggles that partners face and better serve his clients. So with his extensive experience and commitment to the multifamily industry, Jon is now one of the most sought after marketers in the industry. So I want to welcome Jon Simpson to Zoom at 8. Jon, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. That was nice. I like that. One of the most sought after marketing experts in the industry. I don't know if I would put it that way, but that's great. That is great. And I do get to, I might have met some of you guys at some of these conferences. I seem to go to about 20 of them a year, I think. And so I'm all over the place all the time, I feel like. Yeah, it's great to be here with you guys. And it's really nice getting to hear you guys speak at the beginning. I don't usually get to hear from anybody that I'm talking to. So.
Right. This is a special place, Zoom at 8. Now listen, before you take over, I want everybody to give Jon their full exposure. Go over to the right-hand side and there's a view button. Please give him the speaker view. And now you probably see me. You want to see Jon. Once Jon opens his mouth and says something fantastic, you will see Jon. So Jon, I gotta know. Swifty is kind of the little sister to Criterion B. So how did you get involved with this industry? Yeah, tell me your background, your marketing background. Kind of take us from there.
Yeah,
Love to
for
hear
sure.
from it.
So See, I started the agency in 2008. I started this ad agency or marketing agency as an agency for other agencies, taking on all their digital work. So back in 08, there wasn't a whole lot of digital know-how, I'll say, in the ad industry. I'm in Dallas. We are surrounded by ad agencies. So I strategically put my office in the west end of Dallas. And I think there was somewhere like 350 ad agencies within a 5-mile radius of where we were. So the goal was to get into as many of them as possible and basically take over all of their digital services for them, and do it with my own team. Right. So we did that for a number of years. And over the course of the first 5 to 6 or so years, we'd gotten in over 100 agencies, working with them. A lot of really great consumer facing brands that everybody knows. But we were always the lowest man on the totem pole. Right. So we were the programmers. We were the guys at the bottom who did all the work, but got a little bit of the credit. Right. And so
some of the big names that you're working with, Jon, that you were working with, just drop a couple names. Maybe somebody's heard.
We did the Galaxy S6 website for Samsung, and we worked with Pepsi and Dr. Pepper and Coke and McDonald's and Terminix, True Green, and basically almost most major brands, and because we worked with very large agencies. And so we became that. We were the guys that never said no, right? They'd bring us these unrealistic projects that normal people would say no to, and programmers would say, no, you can't do it. And I'd say, no, I'm just going to make my programmers work harder and we'll get it. You know, back then you said it's pixel perfect, right? And you didn't have a lot of the technology you have today to make it that way. And so we worked really hard to be able to work on those projects. But fast forward a few years, in 2014 is the actual year we decided we're going to go, we hit the glass ceiling. We need to start making a change. We started getting into real estate. By that point, we'd already built Amley's corporate website. We built websites for UDR, another major national developer that is kind of known for the tech that they put into their properties. And so we got some big projects there, and we liked it. We liked working on them. So let's do more of that. And so we moved into commercial real estate, and we weren't too picky. Anything would work, right? And so we got to work with a lot of the big commercial buildings in downtown Dallas. So did Trammell Crow Center's social media and blogging and stuff, and kind of went that route. In 2015, met Resman, the owner, Elizabeth Francisco. She found me through HubSpot. So we were talking about CRMs earlier, and HubSpot is a big CRM. We love them. We were a HubSpot agency. We still are a HubSpot agency. And she called me one day and said, hey, we need your help. They had about 16 staffers at the time. So we ended up redoing their brand, their current brand. We did all of their marketing for 5 or 6 years. Saw them through about 3 different buyouts through private equity. And 2 buyouts ago, the new CEO brought in his agency from DC, and we got the boot. So I'm glad we made it through 3. But we're able to work with them. We worked with a lot of other large national brands, AG Spanos. Well, I guess they're small in the national scale, but in their own rights, in their areas, they're big. So we work from coast to coast with a lot of property developers that have 40, 50, 60, 100 properties in most all of your areas. So from California to Connecticut, and in Florida, we do a lot in Florida, but worked in Minnesota and Michigan and a lot of the in-between states as well.
So needless to say, you've done some big work, right? So you're qualified to do this, and you make the decision, I am going to multifamily, which, by the way, I'm thankful for, because it's so hard when you're looking to who's gonna write this for me? Who knows better than to be working in this industry than you, to know exactly how to put your websites together and all of the digital marketing. So can you take us through your presentation? Would love to hear more, and how my audience here and listeners on our YouTube, how can they engage you, and what is important when you're putting together your website, when you're putting your brand together, something that, these folks, they may not be thinking about.
Absolutely. You want me to share my screen?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. All right, we'll jump right in, and actually we can skip over a couple of these slides as they're going to be duplicates of everything I just said. So let's see here. In case you're wondering how to get a hold of me, all this information will be at the end as well, but there's a little bit about me. Again, I go to a lot of industry events, a lot of grand openings. Julie mentioned I was able to start investing in 22. I'm in about 1,850 doors as an LP right now, over about 8 deals or so, and I'm trying to get in more, right? I want to get into more of those as well over the next couple of years. So really have a desire to learn about the owner's perspective, not just from the marketing side, but I feel like in order to make me a better marketer, the more I can know about the ins and outs of the process, the better I will become as a marketer. A little bit about Criterion B. So my two companies are they both service multifamily, but they are very different. Criterion B is the one that I just was explaining. It is a full service marketing agency. We work with anybody touching multifamily. So a lot of our clients are vendors to the space, as well as owners, developers, and management companies. So we work with banks, software, manufacturing, service industry folks, anybody that touches the industry. Founded in 2008, real estate focused in 14, like I said, and we've got employees in 7 states and clients coast to coast. We break our work up into 3 buckets, really. So project work is pretty much your websites, branding projects, collateral materials, anything you need that's a one-off type thing. We do that under projects. Retainers is really where we focus more on the corporate side. So any of those vendors, typically vendors become retainer clients, where we're handling everything from their blog writing, their social media, their CRM management, SEO, SEM, PPC, all of the acronyms that are out there, right? So all of these things. And then promotional is we do anything with a logo on it. If you've ever met me at a conference or seen me at a conference, more than likely I give out a lot of swag. Julie and I were talking, I do a lot of these socks that I give out at the different places. So come up to me if you've seen me. I won't be in Phoenix in 2 weeks. I will be, or in Scottsdale, I saw is what it is, but I will be in Phoenix in June, and several others between now and then. So
make sure you say to Jon, you saw him on Zoom at 8.
Yes, definitely. Definitely say that. Okay, so a little bit, the majority, Swifty on this company side is very, very, very focused on the property level. So in 2018, we were in a meeting with a client that does Class A development from the ground up, and we'd worked on dozens of their projects. And we were talking to their third-party management company they had just started, and they had said, "Oh, we love what you're doing. Can you do it for some of our third-party properties?" And I said, "We'd love to." And they said, "Okay, give us a quote." I gave them a quote and they laughed me out of the room. Our pricing through the agency is agency pricing. It's much higher. And so it's very difficult for properties to be able to afford that work. And I said, I need to come up with a piece of software that will allow me to give properties the same level of work in a way that I can do it in a much less expensive way. And so Swifty was built to automate as many of the processes as we could during that build out process of the websites specifically. And we've continued to make innovations in the realm of trying to get pricing down on the property level. SEO, ADA compliance, all that's built into what we do. Our websites we can launch in about 45 minutes. So it's
45 minutes. You guys, did you hear that? That's a big deal, Jon. So somebody contacts you and says, I need a website. They're up and running in 45 minutes.
Yes, we can get you up and running in 45 minutes. we oftentimes have clients call us like either the day before close, 2 days before close. I need my website. I got to have something up, and we can build a full website in about 45 minutes. That is one of the best things in the world about specializing in an industry is, and they say the riches are in the niches, right? It's if the more you can specialize in an area, the better it is. And a lot of people say you can't over niche, right? And so every year we double down on multifamily, and we try to get more of our client base from multifamily. And we still get clients that come to us outside of the industry, but it's really what we are focused on. And one of the benefits is we know every paragraph, every sentence that a multifamily property site needs to generate leads and to convert the leads, right? So because of that, we a couple of years ago, we built kind of a pseudo AI content creator that my content team wrote basically every sentence of a website 10 ways using variable content pulled from our onboarding that we do, and it would generate the content, and it's unique, SEO friendly and everything. And obviously with the release of ChatGPT and real AI, we've now been able to take what we built and work it into ChatGPT as well. So now it takes our writing and it gives us an infinite more number of sentences and paragraphs, all based around the context that we give it, right? And so it allows us to very rapidly deploy sites that have really good content that's all SEO friendly.
So John,
Yes.
maybe, I don't know when the time is, but if somebody were to contact you and want to get information about what the cost to get up and running, would you be able to provide that for us either now or after your presentation?
Absolutely. So I am, as far as I know, the only website provider in the industry who posts his pricing. Everything's on my website. So our websites cost $500 setup, and depending on how many units you have, 0 to 32 would be $99 a month. 33 to 125 is $150 a month. Anything over 100 and, well, not anything, but 126 to 400 would be $200 a month. So that covers the vast majority of people. Anything over that's 300, and we cap it there.
And does that include the website development in that?
That's everything. So that is the whole website. We do not, I don't believe in kind of nickel and diming on the sites. And so every feature we have is available at every level. We don't withhold anything, right? And so we've built in a lot of features. When we developed the software, we looked at the competitors in the space and we said, what are their unique selling propositions, and let's build them all into our sites, right? And then let's make them a better cost-effective price point. So that's what we've done. We put it to the test all the time, right? I mean, it's definitely something that we are trying to grow rapidly. We're trying to get as many people using the system and really learning from it and leveraging it to help their properties grow as quickly as we can. So getting the word out.
So let's hear what other parts of this website that you're engaging the user on. So, for instance, you can pay your rent through this. Is that correct?
So we actually plug in or integrate with every major property management system. So RealPage, Yardi, Entrata, Resman, Rent Manager, Appfolio, like any property management system that you use, we will plug into it, right? And so almost all of your online payments are going to actually go through your PMS, but we give them a button on the site to do that. We also integrate your pricing and availability data from your PMS directly into your website, so they don't have to leave the website to go there, right? So we want to get as much of them, we want to get them to stay on the website as long as possible. The websites themselves are amazing tools. They really are great. Marketing is way more than just your website, right? And a lot of what I do is educate and teach either new leads, new GPs, new asset managers, even existing asset managers. A lot of our clients have been doing this for 30 years, right? not about how long you've been in the industry, but how marketing has shifted and changed over the last decade and 15 years or so, right? I mean, it's so much has changed in what and how we should be marketing to our potential residents. And a lot of this, I mean, I don't know if we want to, if I can go through the whole presentation, there's a very large education component to what I'm going to talk about. And we can go through it, or we can skip right to the end. I can take questions, we can talk and answer specific things.
No, I think I think what I would like to do is provide people with what is the up-to-date, most relevant information that we all need to be looking at when we're, looking to put together our website and the information that's so critical to being successful. Marketing, you want to get your face out there and doing it the right way. So I think, go ahead, Jon, it's important.
We'll say a lot of this and what I'm talking about, because we're in the Swifty, is going to be on the property focus, but what Julie just said, getting your face out there from, and then when you're trying to build your base of investors and your LPs and all of that, the things that you do for yourself on social media, the things that you do on your own capital raising sites, how you do. Now, you have to be very careful on what you promote on your syndication websites. Right? There's a lot of legal things that you have to be careful of on what you can say and can't say and how you can say it and all of that. But being out there in front of it and being general on the way that you talk about things and how people get to you is a very, very, very important part of raising capital and getting out there. Once you have the properties and you're ready to market them, Swifty is a great tool in order to do that. This is real quick. This is Gray Lane. He works. He was an asset manager for Asset Living. He did a lot of their marketing stuff, and he came to us and followed us for a long time. And then he got in and started his first site. And within like 6 months, he had built 9 websites on his own. We don't have to even be involved. Our product is self-service. You actually log in, fill out a form, and you can generate your own site in 45 minutes. And when I say it, it's not, we do all the work, but it's easy enough for you to do the setup on your own. So it's really great. The class that we're going to run through, and I'm happy to stop and take questions at any point. And Julie, you can interrupt me at any point. We're going to go through 3 things. This is basically the renter's journey, the path the renter goes down, how we get them to our website, what is the story we want to tell them once they're on our site, and then what are we going to do to get them to move on to take that next step in lease with us. So the big problems that when I'm talking to leads, syndicators, GPs, and the like, lack of marketing knowledge. A lot of people starting out in multifamily do not come from multifamily. They don't know where to start. Exactly why we're here today, right? Is to talk about what we don't know on marketing. The low rate of conversion that they're getting on their websites. Again, whether this is your capital raising site or this is your property site, this is an issue. And then the ROI that they're getting for their investors. Everybody seems to be incredibly concerned with making sure they have a positive ROI for their investors, which makes a lot of sense. So if we don't solve the problems, we don't do the right marketing, it's going to take us longer to fill the vacancies, in which case will make it harder for us to reach stabilization and get a positive ROI for our investors. These are a lot of the things that we see people do. These aren't wrong. They are the things that have been done forever. So logos, maybe you have a logo, maybe you don't. I still get sites almost weekly that don't have any branding, any logo. And I feel personally that's a mistake. Even if you have an 8-door property, you should have a nice logo for that property. The brand is the face and it will elevate the value of that property. A lot of the marketing and branding that you do on your properties should be considered a goodwill asset. It should be put into, you should be planning for it and putting it into your PPMs or your MFQAs or whatever those documents are that you're using before you get into the property, before you get into the deal. Websites, again, maybe you have a website, maybe you don't. Maybe they're leaning on apartments.com or apartments list. Monument signs seem to be the single biggest marketing piece that everybody agrees on. I got to have a monument sign, right? And a lot of times they lean on their monument sign guy to do their logo or their website or other pieces, right? Again, I feel like you're doing a disservice to your brand if you're doing it that way. But if you don't know where else to go, what else are you going to do, right? Banners, anything from feather flags to leasing banners and such. Facebook Marketplace is always a great thing to do. You absolutely should be doing it. And then ILS, I usually stop and ask, does anybody know what an ILS is?
No, let's hear, because I don't even know what that is.
Internet listing service. It's the official name of like apartments.com, apartment list. It's how we refer to all of them in general, right? So Zumper, all of those are ILSs. In order to achieve stabilization, you really have to put in technology. So I love that a lot of you guys that were talking earlier, you do the tech side of it, whether it's high level, not go high level, or if it's another CRM, it's putting in things that help automate your processes. Technology can help you in so many ways. And there's so many amazing prop tech tools out there that can plug in and talk to each other. So whatever your PMS of choice is, almost always they'll have an integrations page, and that integrations page is filled with amazing tools that help you do so much of the project, the things that you're trying to get done. Old way of doing websites, and some of you guys might relate to this. We run across these all the time. I did it myself on Wix, on GoDaddy, on WordPress, Squarespace. I called Fiverr. I got the sign guy to do it, right? These websites, they're not built specifically for multifamily. They don't have all of the tools that you need. They're not set up to convert the people that come to your website into leases. So you want to just make sure that whatever you use has those tools equipped in it. Another way is a lot of PMS systems offer a website as a loss leader, as a way to get you in the door. They'll either give you a crazy good deal on a site, or they'll give it to you for free. These sites, again, they work, and they're absolutely tied into your PMS as long as you're using that PMS. If you ever choose, you also have to choose a new website, right? You got to build a new website. Usually the websites are a secondary product to their core, which is the PMS. So websites take longer to get to, response times are a little slower, etc. And lastly, we see for a lot of the Class A's, still we see a lot of custom sites. These check all the boxes. They do everything you need them to do. They're very expensive and they take a long time, right? And so again, Swifty answers that question. We can get websites up in about 45 minutes. All right, so getting into the core of the presentation, driving qualified traffic. Again, if you think about qualified traffic and what we mean, qualified traffic is anybody with intent for what you're selling, right? For us, that's going to be either we're looking for capital or we're looking for leases. We want to get people who are looking to lease an apartment today or in the very near future. And so there's going to be ways we can do that online and offline. And we'll jump into online first. So the things that we feel are absolutely necessary is going to be Google AdWords. I think everybody's probably familiar with this. You've definitely all experienced it. It's in every Google search you've ever done. It's going to be it's going to be the first bit of the listings, what you get there. It is a PPC technology. Well, I'll get into PPC in a second. Basically, this just helps us get in front of the right people at the right time using keywords. We get to choose what those keywords are. We want to be very specific to what we think those people are going to be typing in. Apartments in Phoenix, Arizona, or apartments near me, right? We want to get very specific on what we're looking for and who we feel like we could attract with the right keywords. It is a pay-per-click medium, basically meaning that they only charge you for what clicks you get. If they see your ad and don't click it, you don't have to pay, which makes it a very attractive medium for apartments, right? We want to get all the exposure. We want to get in as many of those lists as we can. We want people to see us, but we only want to pay if they're interested, right? So we want to get in front of as many interested people as we can. Cost per click, the way that they charge you for it is going to be on the demand for those keywords. If we say apartments, that price is skyrockets, right? To $50 or more probably. If we go to long tail keywords, which is like a phrase, apartments near Brownwood, apartments near Phoenix, anything like that, we can get that cost per click way down, right? So we want to try to get under $2 a click. And because it's more specific, it allows us to do that. The benefits is that we get a lot more exposure in front of potential renters that have intent to purchase. We know they are there to rent. We know that, right? They came because they typed in the right keywords. We have the flexibility to adjust our budgets as needed. So we typically say if you are in distress, if your property is in distress, so like under 90, say, or under 85, every company has their distress point set differently. But if you're in distress, you want to spend more money on AdWords because it drives more relevant traffic to your site, right? If you are not in distress, you're at say 90, 92, 93% occupancy, you might do 500 just to keep the pipeline full, right? If you're at 100%, maybe you stop for a little while, cut it off for a month or two. You get great reporting, a lot of great data comes out of this, and you have the ability to track conversions. Most tools, when they're doing AdWords for properties, are going to track conversions as being a form submission, a phone call, or an application submission, not a lease, because they don't have access. Most products don't have access to see that far into your system. There are some products that can help give visibility to that, like Knock CRM or Anyone Home CRM. Both of them are great multifamily products that specialize in showing you the full cycle of a prospect from the time they find you on social media until they actually sign that lease. And it'll start giving you attribution to what actually created that lease for you, which helps you tremendously. Just real quick to kind of see where these ads show up in the search. This is going to be the very first set of things that you see. Sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 5 show up in this list on Google. There's only 2 ways to get above, and this is not 100% true, but for the vast majority of it, this is very true. There's only 1 or 2 ways to get above apartments.com or other ILSs when it comes to Google. It's either going to be paying for it up here, paying for AdWords, or it's going to be in the map pack, which is local SEO, which is earned space, right? You earn it by working hard, and I'll get into that here in a second. Another quick testimony. This is one of my clients. She's in a tertiary market in Texas, in early Texas. It's very tiny. You probably haven't heard of it unless you have family or something there. Her property had dipped at about 67% occupancy in November. And I had the same conversation I'm having with you guys with her. And she took it to heart. She started putting all these things into practice. And within 6 weeks, she was able to get up to 100% occupancy. This property has 40 units, so it's a little bit smaller, right? And so still, that meant she got about, I want to say 13 or 14 leases in that 6-week period. And so it was obviously really, really good for her. But we waited until she had all of her pieces in place before we activated the AdWords to really kind of drill it home. Again, leveraging ILSs. This is another paid medium. Most ILSs, some of them now, they still have free listings. Apartments.com, I believe, just cut theirs. They no longer have a free listing anymore. The way that their models are all different. Some of them are very expensive. Some of them you don't get charged until they get you a lease, right? And so it's a different models for each one. A lot of this can be considered just cost of doing business. These are intent-based people. You don't show up on rent.com or apartments.com unless you have intent to rent. So it is a good idea to be there. Which one is all going to be completely up to your budget and what you can afford. Apartments.com is a leader for a reason. They do a crazy amount of advertising, as we all know. So it is very expensive. I will say it is just standard operating procedure for most of my larger clients. They don't even think about it. They just do it. Social media. So this is obviously a big one for Julie, right?
Mhm.
Social media is very important. It is very important from a property perspective as it relates to your current residents, mostly to help build community in your community, right? People that have friends that live with them in the community are less likely to move out of your community. Residents that stay are that you good residents that you want to keep that choose to stay are your best residents, right? They're the ones that you don't have to have the turnover, you don't have to do any of that work, you still get to keep that revenue flowing. This helps you do that. Prospective residents are going to be leveraging this medium for seeing what kind of community you've built. What's going on? Do they have a vibrant community? Do they have events? Is there life going on there? Is this a group that I want to be part of? But typically properties are not just followed by people because they like to follow the property, right? They're going to go there for research. They want to go here and find out who your property is. This brings us to Google SEO. Long story short, there's two types of SEO. There is traditional SEO, which is really more national. We don't need national SEO unless we're a national business. Our properties are not national businesses. They're very localized. And so we want to focus property SEO on the specific property and maybe a 2 to 5 mile surrounding area of that property. Any of you that are vendors, national vendors, or national syndicators that are interested in learning more about national SEO, like the more traditional stuff, that is something that Criterion B offers and that we can definitely do for you. It is almost synonymous with content. So if usually when I'm talking to my national clients, it really is, you know, are we blogging on a regular basis? Are we publishing content in other places? Are we creating downloadable content? Are we all the things that we need to be doing? Are we publishing on third-party blogs? Things like that to get, there's a lot of strategy in it, but it's a lot of content creation is the bottom line. On the local side of things, the most critical thing you can do for your property, and if you don't hear anything else tonight, this is the one takeaway that you need to take away with, that you need to get done tomorrow for your properties. Sign up for Google Business Profile, fill it out, claim that listing for your property. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but it is the most important thing you can do for marketing for your properties. Okay, more important than the websites, even though websites are very important, and obviously that's what I'm selling. The biggest thing you can do is your business listing with Google. More people will find you and call you or search for your location on their maps through that listing than through anywhere else. Okay, and knowing that, you need the way that you can do it, and we do offer a service to do this for you, but I always say you should try it yourself first. This is free. You register, you can run it for free. Google gives it to you. You can do it. Somebody on your staff can do it. Your leasing agent can do it. The trick is that you have to be consistent. They want to see consistency in your publishing. Do it twice a week, 3 times a week. Treat it like a social media platform, kinda, right? From a consistency perspective. They give you a lot of types of content you can do. So again, it makes it easy. That's everything from responding to a review, which everybody knows how to do. Get in there and just respond, and you should respond to every review, and you should do it promptly. You can also post, like a social post. Talk about what specials you have. Talk about what's going on in the area. Talk about the whatever that's going on, the happy hour at the local pub, whatever you want to talk about. Get on there and publish every once in a while. They have questions and answers you can do. Frequently asked questions and answers. You can ask your own questions and you can answer them. Do that on a regular basis. You can publish pictures regularly. Update your hours for holidays. There's so many things you can do. But it'll only work as hard as you work. Okay? If you're not consistent, you will fall. I told you earlier that there's 2 ways to get above apartments.com. You can pay for it or you can earn it. This is what I mean. You have to earn it. This is an example of a good Google business listing where it shows their ratings that they're getting. It has their address, has their hours of operation, their phone number, their website. You can even put on here your link for booking. Well, they have it, booking appointments. You can actually put a direct link to your guest card here. Questions and answers are shown. You can link to your virtual tour can be linked here. You can even tie in, if you're using, again, I talked about a lot of cool prop tech. Bird Eye is a great tool. It ties into a lot of things. One of the things that it manages is your reviews. It's what it's mainly built for across a lot of different platforms. But it'll even let you start running. Google has a Google Chat feature built right into this, so people can chat with you. So you get a little chat button up here. When they chat, it goes directly into your Bird Eye dashboard, so you can answer those chats along with your other chats. So there's so many cool tools. If you don't have Bird Eye, you can chat right through here. They give you a way to do it, but if you're going to have it, you got to make sure you're going to actually respond to it. You don't want to make people mad. This is where your Google business listings will show up. It's the second thing. So where you have 5 paid spots, you only got 3 chances to be up here. So how do you get the 3 chances? If you click more places, you're going to see another listing of you and all your competitors. Hopefully you, if not all your competitors. So they're going to show up here. You have to have a brick and mortar. You have to have a physical address. Here, a lot of people, I hear from a lot of people, they think, oh, I got horrible reviews. I need to get rid of the bad reviews. I'm going to just rebrand and Google will let me have a fresh start. That's not true. You cannot get a fresh start. If your property has ever been claimed, you're stuck with it. It follows the address, not the brand, not the name, not the logo. It follows the address. So you have your work cut out for you. You can only get rid of bad reviews in 2 ways. You can contact the person that left the review and convince them to change it, or you can bury it under good reviews. That's it. So your job as property owners is to bury all the bad reviews. And you can only do that in, well, there's a couple ways, I guess, but negativity comes free. It's going to flow to you like there's no tomorrow. People have no problem posting all their hates. To get good reviews, you have to ask for them. So you need a process, a system, something in place internally to either incentivize your team, don't incentivize people to give you reviews, incentivize your team to go get you reviews. You can do that. That's a good way to do it. Give them the tools they need. Give them cards with QR codes that take them straight to the review page. Do little things you can do like that to help promote it. Every time someone walks into the office and has a good conversation, ask for one. Every time a good maintenance ticket is completed, ask for one. Get in the habit of doing that and your bad reviews will sink to the bottom. Okay. Bird Eye, again, I had a call with a lady today that's got, I want to say 10,000 units, 10 or 20,000 units. And she said they've been using Bird Eye for 6 months now. And since they started using Bird Eye, their reviews have soared. She said, because it puts in place systems, that's the trick. It puts in place a system that helps you get to the reviews. I'll quit talking about that. Okay. Offline traffic sources. These are your traditional things. My advice is really to take what was traditional and add some digital flair to it. Add in a direct link to a website, add in a QR code. One of the few great things that came out of COVID was the use of QR codes. Before COVID, I mean, I've been using QR codes for a decade. I built a whole software platform around QR codes a decade ago. Couldn't get anybody to use it. COVID came and I just was about a decade too early on that whole venture. But now everybody uses them and they're beautiful. They work so great. And the main reason I love them is that you can push people to anywhere you want them to go. So on a floor plan sheet, I can push them to a specific floor plan on my website that has an apply now button for that specific floor plan with all the availability and pricing right next to it, right? If I'm wanting to send them to a guest card, I can create a QR code that goes directly to a guest card. If I want to take them to my floor plans page so they can see the whole thing, I can take them there. Be specific in your uses of your QR codes. Sending people just to your home page is It's not something you should do normally. Our goals as marketers is to help people work less. We don't want to make them work and to find something. If we're taking them there from a specific event flyer for Julie or something, she can give them a flyer that takes them directly to the Zoom at 8 link, right? Register now. It's the same thing on property sites. Just be specific. If you are a capital raiser, one of my favorite QR codes that I use constantly is my new digital business card QR code. I'm at events all the time. And I still carry traditional business cards, but I have my digital card. And when I use that digital card, what's so great is it gives me the opportunity right then to book a meeting. I can book a meeting with them on my calendar. They get all my information. And at the end of this presentation, I, of course, will present you with a bunch of QR codes on how you can get a hold of me. This is not actually one of them, although that probably does work and goes somewhere, but I don't know where. I better get off of it before y'all scan it. In order to create opportunities for your website to lease, you got to drive qualified traffic. That's the bottom line is, if we're going to convert them, we got to get them there first. You know, I think Field of Dreams laid a big lie for everybody. If you build it, they will come. And that's just not true. You build a website, people are not going to flock to you. You've got to promote it, right? And that's, again, whether that's your property or that's your capital raising company or that's your business, you got to promote it. Websites on their own are not enough. Okay, so we're driving all this traffic. Now what are we going to do? We got to tell them a story. This is the beauty of a website. Your website, again, for your property, your capital company, or your business, the beauty of the website is you control the narrative. It's one of the few mediums we get to do that on. We get to tell the story that we want people to see, right? And on property sites, the whole purpose of this is to get the prospect to relate to us, right? We want to pull on their heartstrings. We want to get them to feel like they can see themselves living in our properties. So we have a couple ways that we can do it, right? We're going to start with the text. We got to be descriptive in our text. We got to paint the picture of what life is like. We don't just want to use words about, you know, the awesome quartz countertops or whatever. We need to tell them what life is going to be like. So here's some examples. Apartment homes that fit your whole family for dinner. As someone who's looking for an apartment, I very well could have typed in to Google, I need an affordable apartment in Phoenix because I'm feeling the financial stress around me and all of this. But what I know I really need and how I'm going to be tugged on my heartstrings, yeah, but I still have to have a place for my whole family. Everybody needs to live there. I want to see my family being able to live life in this community. What's that going to be like? The imagery that we use, again, this is like almost every client. At first, when we get photos, they look like the top one. It's an empty apartment showing their premium units, right? They're beautiful if you are a construction guy in the apartment industry or even an owner in the apartment industry. But to somebody trying to picture themselves there, that is a cold, empty space. And it doesn't help them. You can get these virtually staged and that really helps, right? So that's not very expensive to do. There's a lot of people out there that do it and we're one of them, right? We can virtually stage these that look like they're photorealistic for model units if you don't have a model unit. Put plants in there, put food on the counter, make it look lived in a little bit, right? Not messy, make it look really nice, but make it feel like they can start to picture themselves like there's a little warmth there. And then use stock photography throughout your site. There's nothing wrong with stock photos. You can use stock photos that tell the story without saying this picture was taken in my unit, right? So like on the left, this could be any coffee shop in any city in America. This is just saying, hey, we got people that like to live life together and there's stuff in the neighborhood to do. There's people moving in. You don't see the appliances. You can't even tell if the windows have grids or not. You don't see the walls, the furniture, the flooring. You can be creative with the cropping. And this could be literally any pool, anywhere in the world, right? It literally just shows that people are actually having fun in a pool, and we happen to have a pool. That's great. Your floor plans. Okay, so this one is actually a great crossover one because the floor plans are going to work for both the story and in the conversion process. But this is an area that we see people skimp on so often. And I say, you should do not pick your floor plans to skimp on. This is not that expensive. And this is the #2 page of every single multifamily website out there, next only to the homepage. And the homepage barely has it beat. Okay, that almost never happens where you have a secondary page that's that popular. This page is going to be explored. It's going to be used. I say the 2D ones without any furniture in them, they help people start to see and picture their own furniture there. The 3D helps give them an idea of what's possible with furniture. And then the virtual tour, which is what you see on the right, Matterport is just a brand. It's a brand of virtual tour. There's others out there too, but the virtual tour gives them that walkthrough that they only have 2 ways to do it. It's either virtually or in person. And if I'm moving from Chicago to Dallas, I'm not going to be there in person. Again, another good thing to come out of COVID was the immense usage of virtual tours. So use them. They will help you lease more apartments. Your
All
neighbor.
right, John, we're
Yes, ma'am.
running out of time. So you're giving
Okay,
us
I'm gonna
so much
jump to the end.
content.
I know it's a long
Oh my
one. Let
God,
me
it's
just
so
speak to the-
wonderful.
And I actually, guys, anybody that is interested in seeing the full presentation, I do another webinar every Thursday. It's the full presentation here, the whole thing. So I'm going to get you to the last slide. Oh, let me stop on this one real quick. We do a newsletter. This is for marketing properties. It's once a month. We give you content for your next month to leverage. We would love to have you guys join this. Right now it's in, I would say, preliminary period. We're trying to see if there's enough value here for people to keep it going. So we're giving it a 3-month trial run, trying to see if we can get up to about 50 users to cover our cost. That's going to get you the newsletter. One more right here. This gives you all my contact.
All right,
So
friends.
you've got my contact, the newsletters, and the AdWords service. You can take a screenshot of this, reach out to me. I'm happy to set up meetings, phone calls, whatever you need.
My, oh my, oh my. I mean, I took tons of notes and I hope everybody else did as well. We've got the bad reviews, how to fix those. We've got AdWords. We've got to get into those. If you're losing money, you got to do more AdWords, right? We've got to do the Google business listing, right? We got to be consistent with that. We got to be doing all of our content in those business listings. Get some pictures in there. All right. Maybe have some chats. This whole purpose of why I want to bring Jon here is to add another level of you to be thinking about utilizing people in the industry. These guys are experts. Why go out and try and create this with people that don't know how to do it? These guys are dialed in. And I think it's worth your time and energy to understand how to do marketing. And Jon has done a great job giving you some tips. Now, before I go to Candace, on their website, there is some, I think this was Criterion, successful multifamily branding. There is a free, I think you've got other things, but there is the 10 best practices to increase your social media engagement, if even on a personal level, right? Jon has a ton of information, you guys, on his website that he can add to your journey through this. So go look at his website. He's got so much valid information for all of us. We are in this together. Candace, what's your question?
Thanks, Julie.
Yeah.
Jon, one thing that little perplexed me when you talked about WordPress, I know Wix and all of that, just like plug and play, just crappy websites. But WordPress is where you get your themes. Is it just because of the amount of time? Can you touch on that, where you had that kind of WordPress mixed in with Wix and all of that? I kind of got lost there on that one.
Absolutely. So WordPress is still a do-it-yourself tool, and that's really where I was going with that. Now, when we're building custom websites, we still choose WordPress. That's how we build them, and they're very flexible. But for novices who are not programmers, WordPress gives you plug and play environments to build a website on your own, right? It's a little more work than a Squarespace or a Wix, but they still give you that ability. And that's where we put it there. Now, we've built $300,000 websites in WordPress. So that's not the tool itself is a very flexible and amazing tool, but it's difficult to get all of the bells and whistles you need for your property on your own through WordPress.
Wow,
Does that
you
make sense?
unpacked that one very, very, very well. Candace, does that answer your question? Thumbs up? Yes, awesome.
Good.
Anybody else have a quick question? Anybody in the house? I mean, John, you did an amazing job explaining what is important for all of us to be thinking about on our website in this community. It's amazing, just truly amazing. Anybody before we shift?
I have a quick question.
Yes,
Or
yes.
it might not be quick. John, is it at all possible to use your marketing techniques to contact building owners in a specific MSA and make contact with them with a view to inducing them to sell their apartment buildings at some time in the future?
So there's no way to use our tools to do that, but there are tools to do that, right? So that's a little bit tricky one, because you're basically, if you're doing it via email, you'll be spamming them. Unless, and there are ways around that would be gray areas, right? Not really heavily recommended. Or you're going to be using more traditional techniques like direct mail, which is highly effective still. And I know it's took a dive in the past, and now it's kind of back up as email boxes are full. You have another opportunity to approach those guys with direct mail pieces, but there's nothing built into our software to do that.
Thank you. I'd like to pursue that a little bit more with you, and I will. I'll make contact with you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Perfect, perfect. Micah, what's your question?
Hey, John. So just to clarify, so you have the the Swifty tool that makes the automatic websites for apartment listings, and then you also mentioned something about with helping with advertising for like syndications and capital raisers and stuff like that. So is that a different tool other than Swifty, or is that where does that integrate into your system?
So we actually have a version of Swifty built for companies, which would include both property management. There's a property management component to it, and there's an investor component to it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if you reach out to me afterwards, I'm happy to send you a couple sample sites so you can look at those. They're also template based. They are not automated as much. So the content is not automated on those. Every property company seems to have their own philosophies, their own styles, the own things they want to go after. So content is provided by you and dropped into the theme. So we can help you do that. And it has a lot of things that will tie into like your, there's an acquisitions page. So you can list all the properties that you're currently in, all the properties that you're working towards getting into, things like that. But
What would something like that cost, John? Just, high level.
So we have for using one of our themes, we have $1,000 setup, and then we have a $250 a month fee for those sites.
Of that, I missed your email. Is it okay if you drop the email in the chat before you leave?
Oh, absolutely. Sorry.
No worries.
Julie was pushing me out, so I was trying to get through
Sorry.
fast.
We got
Yeah.
things to do. We got to go. Candace, number 2, we charge at 3. What's your question? Uh-oh, you're on mute.
I forgot to lower my hand. I'm sorry.
Oh, so you're good. Okay. All right. Anybody else before we go to the next part? All right, John, that was fantastic. It was worth the wait. John and I met, last year, and I said, John, I really want you on. He said, well, I'm real busy. We got him in the door. So thank you, John. Appreciate it. Really amazing. These are the things we need to be thinking about and efficiently doing them. You gotta do it efficiently, get it done. It makes you, what did you say? Work less. I love that. John, thank you
Okay.
again for joining us tonight. I appreciate it.